Good evening here on KM Activities, your home for the KoMets. I'm Joel McCall, sitting inside my home. So we get to do these Wednesday interviews still, and we'll do them safely because Maddy Cummings is with us and she's at home. So Maddy, how was practice today, first of all?
It was good. We did a lot of scrimmaging today, so it was fun.
Yeah, I know. I think you did a lot of that yesterday too, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Well,
did.
how was classes and how was school?
I was at home today. I'm an M, so I was home today, so I had all online. It was pretty easy. I mean, I have my first two classes are usually like flex, so I don't actually have to like do anything unless I'm working on something. So it was a pretty easy going day, and then I practiced, so worked out good.
Yeah, well, here's something that wasn't easy, and that was playing Minnesota. They were a solid club.
Yeah.
You guys played them the other night, and my days run together. It was Monday night.
Mhm.
Uh, Maddy, if you don't know, is an outside hitter for the volleyball team. They went 8-3 on the season. Don't know if it'll continue, but their three losses are to all ranked teams. Her hitting percentage, and we're going to get to your progression as a player. We're definitely going to hit on that, Maddy. But she was hitting about 289 for a kill percentage. 300 is really good, so 289 is very good. But I want to go back to Monday and talk about Minnesota because, well, one, you got off to a great start. You actually had quite a few kills in that first set. And
Yeah.
what was it like playing the Vikings though, and getting out there on the court against the two-time defending champs?
It was fun. I mean, we went into it like pretty good. I think it's just like we struggle or we have struggled in recent like games, like getting into it too late. I mean, we start off pretty good and then we kind of like struggle a little bit and then towards the end we started to compete, but it was just like too late. I mean, we couldn't really make up for all those points that late. But it was a fun like team to play. It was really competitive. So those are the fun games to
Yeah,
fight
absolutely. It's
for all the points.
a lot like playing Stewartville and
Yeah.
or last year with Lakeville South. And
Yeah.
I talked to Coach Van Orr after the match too, and he said, "Yeah, man, I felt like, or he did, that you girls got off to a slow start, but then you get in that third set, man, things were really rolling." And how did the
Mhm.
girls feel about even just taking a set from them?
Yeah, no, it was fun. We were super pumped. And then the other sets, we were all talking. I think everyone just felt super like anxious. Like you could just tell everyone's kind of like in their head. I mean, we haven't had a match like that since Stortville. Where I mean, it's a good team to play. It's fun. It's like intense. So I think a lot of us were just in our heads, or at least I was. It was just kind of like my hands were shaking. Like it just gets like you just get anxious and you don't really know what you're doing, and then you sit and you tell yourself like, don't mess up, like because it's just like those points, like usually those sets that you can kill, and then we were hitting them out, or like we weren't getting touches on blocks. We couldn't really make adjustments like we should have. So just like those small things you get in your head about. So I think a lot of us were kind of struggling in that section.
Yeah, but again, you got to kind of erase some of that. Played a fantastic. I thought the third set was probably the best volleyball
Yeah.
I've honestly covered since I didn't get to cover the Stewartville game earlier this season. But I felt like it was some of the best volleyball that I got to cover for all the entire season. And as I said, you've hit the ball extremely well this season, and I have seen a tremendous growth from last year to this year as a player. Talk about that. How did you become a little bit better as an outside hitter and gaining that varsity experience too? Because there's been so many outside hitters in front of you for a few years.
I know it. Yeah. I mean, we had JO and then it got shut down because of COVID. So, I mean, a lot of it wasn't, I didn't really get to play much off season. And I mean, I lifted a little bit, but I think the biggest thing I went into it's like my senior year. It's kind of like you got to give it your all. You never know if like this is going to be your last practice or your last game. So I think that changed my mindset a lot and just kind of go into every game thinking it might be your last. So.
Were there things that you worked on in practice, like kind of just by yourself individually?
Yeah, I mean, this season especially, we've changed not a lot of our techniques, but like for outside hitters, we've worked on like footwork, like if you're not passing, how you transition off to hit in a more like efficient way to get there sooner. So like that's something I've worked on, but my blocking is probably my biggest thing that I've been working on recently. I mean, like pressing is your number one thing, like to get touches. You need to press. I mean, if you don't, it gets tooled. So that's something I've been working on every practice is my blocking mainly. I mean, it doesn't really go correlate with hitting but much, but Yeah, blocking something I've been working on a lot in
Yeah.
practice.
And I think the one thing that people forget about is how important those touches are when
Right.
you're going up for a block and helping that back row. So then once again, it's just that wheel can keep going in motion where you
Right.
can roll back into that offense. And we just heard from Governor Walls. I mean, he just was
Mhm.
on about a half an hour ago.
Yep.
And one of the questions that I had written down for you was, how satisfying is it just to have a season? You girls sat there and thought, maybe this wasn't going to happen. Maybe it gets pushed to the spring. Now it comes back. I mean, just to have a season had to mean a lot.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially for our seniors. I mean, we didn't know for sure if we'd even get our last couple games to compete together. So I mean, we stayed in it positive. We kind of went into every game like, we might get shut down tomorrow. So I mean, I'm happy we got a season at least. I mean, it's a bummer to think like we'll have to end Friday, but I'm happy we at least got to play our last season together, even if it wasn't what we really wanted.
Well, you girls are such a close group, especially
Mhm.
with the senior group. You have tremendous teammates all around you. I want to ask you about the dynamic and that relationship with them.
No, yeah, I mean, we don't really hang out much outside of school really, but like just our like foundation, everything is built on like a community and working together, putting others first. I mean, even if your role is sitting on the bench and just cheering, but we still put the people that play like ahead of us. Like you just need to be there for each other. And I think we've built a really strong foundation over the years, just doing that and not being selfish. So that helps a lot. Even if, I mean, we don't really hang out much outside of school or do things together as a team. When we're in practice, it's like that's our community. That's what we're built on.
Did you feel as a senior that you had to take a bigger role as a leader too? Or because of this group and so many different dynamic personalities there, was it
Yeah.
kind of like, well, I could just kind of be myself and everybody else takes a leader role?
I mean, yes, last year I wasn't necessarily like laid back, but like there was other captains, that kind of took the lead. But even as like when you're not a captain, you kind of got to step in. But this year, like as a captain and like you just know you got to like step forward, even if it's like your friend, like you got to be straightforward and you got to lead the team, make sure everyone's playing their role, doing everything they can to stay safe and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I feel like especially as a senior and a captain, you got to take a bigger role on the team.
Yeah. How about for you guys? How hard was it to adapt during the season too? Because here you had one week where it's like, no, we got to play this team. Now that's off. Now we got to play a different team. So I mean, there was a lot of adaptation when it came to your schedule and just preparing for matches.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked, when we heard like, oh, we're not going to play this team this week, but we were always happy to that's one more day of practice. I mean, we just got to prepare for the next team now. So I don't think we ever were sad, that we didn't get that match. It sucked, but we were happy, we got one more day of practice to prepare for the next team. So we used every day we could to get better and practice as a team.
Yeah, and you end up again like ZM. You got to play them twice just because
Yeah.
we were looking for a match too. So,
Yeah.
well, let's talk a little favorites. I always like to have a little fun during the interviews. Not that we haven't had fun already.
Yeah.
The favorites. One thing I have written down was match. How about a favorite match of your career?
Probably homecoming we played Lakeville South. I mean, those games are just different, like, especially when they're at home and it's homecoming. That's the one thing that sucked this year. We didn't really get a homecoming this year, I mean, because of COVID. So those matches are definitely, like, just different. Like, you get adrenaline. The whole gym is filled. It's fans, like, cheering for you, and they're a good team. So it was a fun game. That's probably my favorite game. Or, I mean, obviously playing Stortville to go to state. Those ones are always fun. But I think Lakeville, our homecoming game, was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. How about, do you have a favorite hit? Do you have a favorite, like, oh yeah, that's the one I want to put on a highlight reel?
Uh, I can't. I think it was Lakeville actually. Yeah, that homecoming. I had an outside hit that went straight down the line, and I just remember how like loud it was. That was probably my favorite hit that I remember.
This was a joke, but I wrote down teammate. You don't have to throw anybody else underneath the bus, but do you have a favorite teammate?
I love all my teammates.
Oh, she'll run for politics someday. How about favorite music?
Probably rap or country. I mean, I listen to both. Just depends.
Okay. Movie?
Oof. Um. Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know my favorite movie. I don't really watch movies that much. I watch a lot of TV shows on Netflix. So like
Okay.
The Office is probably my favorite TV
Oh,
show.
there we go. That'll work. Do you have a role model?
Hmm. Probably my grandma. I mean, not famous, but I look up to her a lot. Yeah, she's
Why?
probably my role model.
Why do you look up to her so much? That's a good one. I'm glad that you didn't pick somebody famous.
I don't know. I mean, like just throughout my childhood and even now, she's always someone that I've like been super close to. She's always there. She puts people like first. So that's why I always look up to her. You know, she's not selfish and she puts other people's needs before her own. Make sure like all of our family is good before she's even in like these COVID times. Like she's older, so it's more dangerous for her, but she's still out and about, like making sure everyone's good. So I love to be around her.
Well, I know I was probably disappointed that she couldn't see or come to some of your matches, but hopefully
Yeah,
you've been showing her some things.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite advice? Has somebody given you some advice that's like that stuck with me?
I don't know. I mean, not much advice. I mean, that's same with my grandma. I don't know. She always just like put other people before yourself. So that's always something I look up to. Or like someone can like have a worse off situation than you can. So just, walk around thinking that other people might be worse off than you.
Yeah,
Not feel
well,
sorry for yourself all the time.
I like that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
works. Well, I know you're obviously in volleyball. Tell me about other organizations that you're in and a part of at the school district.
I'm in the student council. This is my second year, I think. I mean, we haven't really got to do much this year for student council just because of COVID. I mean, we usually organize like homecoming and all the big things that happen at school. So we haven't got to do much there, but I'm in that. I'm in Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I have a little named Jaden. And last year was fun because I got to spend a lot of time with her. But this year we have to meet over Google Meet. So I don't really get to see her in person that much. And then I'm also in basketball. I played throughout like all when I was young, and then I actually quit freshman year because I wanted to focus on volleyball. And then all my friends are in basketball, so I joined last year again, and it was super fun. They're a fun team too. I like
So
to
you're
play.
going to go out for basketball again?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was going to ask you about other sports. How about your family? Tell me about your family. Your parents, what do they do? Siblings?
Oh gosh. Well, my parents are divorced, so I have my mom. She's a dental hygienist in Byron, and then my dad does like builds houses. I don't even really know. My stepmom works at Mayo, and I actually have 5 stepsisters. So there's 6 of us when I'm at my dad's, and we're all like around the same age. So like I have one that she's in college, and then there's 2 that are in like oh gosh, 10th grade and 9th grade, and then 2 are still in middle school. So there's a lot of girls in our house. Yeah.
Well, if Monday was your last volleyball match, we don't know if it is or not. How do you look at your overall season and plus your career?
I thought it went really well. I mean, I think we played super hard throughout this whole season, but I don't know. Monday, kind of, I don't know. The next day I woke up and it was kind of like, I don't know, we didn't really go. I didn't, at least I didn't. I kind of thought, we're going to have another game after this. So it kind of sucks to end on that, not knowing. But overall, I think we had a super good season. I mean, we've worked super hard in the gym, improving our game. I mean, we're not the biggest team, obviously, anymore. So a lot of it's come with like defense and just being like a hardworking team going into every game, battling for every point. So I think overall our season's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope that there might be a game or 2 left on the schedule for the
Right.
Kasson
Right.
volleyball team. And Maddie, before I let you go, I got to ask about your future plans. What do you plan on doing after graduating at KM?
Well, I mean, I have 3 schools right now. I'm looking at Eau Claire, the U of M, and then I actually toured Mankato last week. And I want to go into either nursing or like an obstetrician. That's kind of my pathway right now, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm thinking Mankato is probably my #1 school. Head there
Well,
next year, hopefully.
if you think so much about others and putting others first, I would say nursing is a great career
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Again, the Comets, they're 8-3 on the season. Their 3 losses are all ranked teams too. Number 1, number 2, and then number 1 and 1A. If you go back, and this is not to you, Maddy, but if other people are going back to watch Kasson volleyball from last year to this year, there is only everybody has gotten better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to undercoat what everybody else has done. But there are two volleyball players that have stuck out to me as far as bigger leaps, and that's Addison Bazowski and the person that we just talked to, Maddy Cummings. I think those two really made the biggest leap from year to year. And Maddy, I thank you so much for joining me here on KM Activities, and enjoy the rest of your night, and let's hope we get to see you on the court one more time.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. That's Maddy Cummings then here on KM Activities. Our Wednesday interviews are not done. This could get a little hairy, our second interview. We're going to have two different guys on at the same time. We'll see how it goes. But that's our plan with football, guys. And thank you very much for tuning in here on KM Activities. I'm Joel McCall. Okay, and then we'll stop.